Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I hope you're having a great day so far. It's a wonderful Wednesday. It's 9 o'clock p.m. We're going to be playing some level requests, as always, with a little twist tonight. We're going to be playing them on GLOBED. If you don't know what GLOBED is essentially a way where you can play with other people. So if you guys end up joining my room, you will show up on my screen. At the moment, I do have voice chat disabled for myself, so I won't be able to hear you guys. But as a quick note, if you'd like to join the room code will be 945-356. You can also access that by typing in !GLOBED. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get some level requests rolling. You guys can join along in GLOBED once again. The code should be posted on the screen as well. All right, first up, we got The Funny World by QZ Lind. Chapter 1. Alright, so a little introduction. As always, very nice. I'm good. So we can assume that he probably fell. Always fun. Okay, so can you interact with these people? I feel like that could be a good next step, right? Interacting with the people. All that kind of stuff. It's always very fun. Okay. The good news is the gameplay itself is pretty self-explanatory. Okay, be careful, you are high up. It's good to have a little bit of dialogue, I was going to say. Dialogue can make you actually feel like you're in contact with the people, the characters in the game. Okay, maybe marking this out a little bit could also be a good next step. I'm just a little bit confused on that. Good to see a few people in the globed thing. Give me 15 fish so I can go further. All right. Our work is cut out for us, yeah? We gotta pick up 15 fish. Okay, so how do I... Okay, so you can scale that rock wall. I was gonna say you could get soft locked if you weren't careful, but it's a good idea to have the rock scalable on the way back. Well done there. Collect 50 coins as well. Okay, good challenge. Let's do it. We're gonna get 15 coins. Should be pretty easy. Overall, so far, I think, in all honesty, the decoration lands itself as a star rate. There's enough progression. There are some mini games involved, some of that good stuff. So as of now, I don't have a ton of complaints. Obviously, maybe developing a little bit further, story building, all that good stuff can come in later, and it can be very useful for increasing creative, strength. But overall, not too bad so far. Come on. Oh, wait. Maybe marking those a little bit heavier, too. I wish that the blocks were marked just a little bit heavier so that I could see them. They blend in a bit with that backdrop. Not incredibly strong, just a little side note. Okay, where are the rest of the fish? Am I missing something? Am I just directly missing the fish? Where am I missing them? Come on. So maybe here, since the level is in all essences very easy, it could be a good next step to add a little bit of indication towards where the fish are, since they do appear to be just a bit hidden, for me at least. Oh, vine. Oh, okay, so again, a little indication here could be helpful. But we got them all. We're through. Let's go. And, okay. So, you do have to jump up there. I think it's a good feature. Adds a little bit more detail to it. Okay, new fire in the hole, Meowland. Okay. So it's an exploration platformer, no doubt. Oh, you have to flip it on. Good animation. Where I am. Cart. Ooh, little cart. We love ourselves a good cart. Okay, practice complete. So for me, what is there already so far is actually pretty good. It's pretty fun. It's enjoyable. It feels nice and relaxed. Silly, goofy, all that stuff. However, it does end very abruptly. I think that continuing this could be a good next step. I don't know if it was just something that happened with me, if it was a glitch or anything, but it did feel very quick to end. Extend this a little bit more and just see what happens. I think it could go for a star rate or a feature. Feels very solid overall. All right. Next up in the queue, we got Rush Death by Cycle Ashton. Let's take a look. All right. So this feels very Knockem immediately. It looks like the world level Knockem. It has the same song, I believe. No, it doesn't. It has the same retro vibe, though. The song does. I mean, not too bad so far. The gameplay doesn't play too bad. Although there are some pretty direct inspirations taken from Knockem, and I wish there was a bit more variation going on there. Like, especially those, like, portals that teleport you to a different place. Those are directly ripped from them. So cleaning that up a little bit, making it a little bit more, I guess, your own, could be a great next step. Heck yeah, we got some people joining in the GLOBED room. Good to see you all, as always. Okay, so we gotta just... I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to do here. Slightly vague. Oh, okay, so definitely mark those out for the next time, because it's incredibly confusing, and it looks like I should be clicking somewhere that I'm not supposed to, apparently. I think there's a bit of a parallax attempt going on. Adding a bit of move triggers could be a good next step there. I'll be releasing a video in the near future about that, by the way. Okay, got a little bit of wave going on. I'm not sure. Okay, it's auto. Looks like. Feels like a bit of a strange ending to a level that otherwise has a lot of player-controlled gameplay. I wish that was player-controlled, as always. But no, I don't think too bad overall. It very much does mimic the style of Knockem, and a bit more variation could be very good, and I think it could stand to, you know, try some new things. But not too bad overall. I think you got a good start. All right. Next in line, we got Dirty Plam. Okay, so there's a Nong, but I am probably going to play it through normal, because when a level gets rated, it has to have a decent normal song, so I'm going to try to get the essence. And the note here is high, by the way. Hello. Okay. So I do not know. This might be a layout. Not sure here. I'll request my level to your next stream. All right, awesome. Okay. So that orb there didn't do a ton of heavy lifting. You could just pretty easily skip it. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it feels a bit oddly placed to not be intentional. All right. I am going to go ahead and mute the music just really quick, since there's some stuff going on in it. But I will give some feedback on the gameplay as is. Okay, a little bit of spam going on. I can see that. And a little bit more portal. All right. This is a pretty good gimmick, I'd say, overall. Just that little slope gameplay. Very fun. Okay, that's a big camera rotation, which does have to be countered by easy-to-read gameplay. Very important. Okay, again, strong camera rotation, which is very tricky for me to see through. Wish there's a bit more going on there. Okay. Okay, we're through again. I just got overtaken. All right. Oh. Okay, so I guess we're almost done with the level as is. Yeah, it's pretty tricky to read with all these camera rotations. I really wish that there was at least an option to disable camera triggers, because I have no idea where I am right now. And in some ways, it's good to add difficulty through some factors of unreadability, but camera rotation is generally not one of them. Camera rotation should just be used to add a little bit of emphasis, stuff like that, to the level, instead of really making it tricky to read. And I wish the orbs had a bit more support going on. They feel like they're doing a lot of work in a level that's otherwise pretty empty. And then I think we're about through. Yep, just a little spam. I feel like the level should be reaching its end here. Right about now. Okay. Up, up, up. Nice. And then, ooh, okay, that's a bit of an odd click. Okay, and then one final quadruple spike to finish it all off. Yeah, I think the gameplay overall isn't too bad. It plays solidly. There's just a lot of unreadability that does come with the camera movements that are going on there. So tweaking those could be a great next step. Not too bad, though, overall. I think there's some good stuff going on. All right, next up, Time Machine V2. I already did play this one through on stream, I believe. So we're going to go ahead and skip that. On next, Mesmerizing Melodies. 1 minute and 5 seconds. Thanks to Sakura for the send. Awesome. Let's see how it goes. First of all, nice parallax. Actually, very nice. There's some good color movement going on here. Yeah, it's pretty fun as is. Okay, I like the colors going on here. Perhaps a bit more variation in color. Everything kind of blends into each other. The saws look the same as the blocks, which looks very similar to the background and stuff like that. Going ahead and maybe some more contrast, stuff like that, making something stick out that you want the player to pay attention to. You've done a good job on the indicators, so those have a little bit more variation rolling. All right, some wave spam as well. Very nice, very nice. Big fan of how this looks so far overall, actually. I'm kind of liking the not contrast, and I'm not sure why. It's just really cool. There's some good highlights as well. The colors are just kind of going like round and round, which really kind of adds some depth. Super nice. So far, it feels very balanced. I don't have a lot of complaints there. This is a bit of a blind jump, but not too bad. Good end screen as well. It's always really good when a level has an end screen because it feels like it comes to a close and it makes sense, which is awesome. Very nice to see. So what to improve here, first of all? I think that the colors do blend just a little bit too far together, and that's my only major gripe about the level. It feels very good otherwise overall, and that is why I would either say that it could be a star rate or a feature. I'm going to go ahead and say it's a star rate. Very close, though. And it would be a 5-star, probably. Wow, I can't type. Yeah, I mean, I think overall that makes sense, right? It has a great atmosphere. It has solid gameplay. There's one blind jump that was a little bit tricky to go through. But otherwise, it was it was a very good playthrough. The colors could have a bit more contrast, as I said. The saws look the same as the blocks in terms of color and all that stuff, but there were some really good points in terms of highlights, indicators, stuff like that. So definitely a great start, and I think that it could go for a star rate as is. Maybe a bit more tuning up and a bit more contrast. This could go for a feature. Throw some effects in there. It could go for an epic. Are you doing level requests? Indeed. You can submit your level via the form. Okay, this one is short, so I will have to unfortunately skip it. My form submission does require it to be a medium length to a long length level. Next up, we got Club Step Monster EV. This one is also short, so I will unfortunately have to skip it. Okay, next up we got Spike Full. This level is only exclusively made of spikes. So first of all, just to start us off, I think since you have some blue designs going on here, it could really benefit from having a different colored background. The default background in general is a good start, but it should be built off of and not generally used in a full-length level. Cool idea, though, to use these all in spikes. These are all different unique spikes, which is cool. I think sticking to one theme could also be a good next step. It does feel just a bit mesh-mashed together. Okay. Hang on for just a moment. Okay, so there's a lot of straight fly going on here. And it does feel just slightly imbalanced in general. Like, that part there is real easy, and then some other parts are, like, just straight fly, like this one. So I wish that either I could feel like, okay, this level is really difficult, or this level is really easy, and I can't tell which one it is right now. Which is just a little bit tricky for me. I appreciate there's, like, actually some text going on, knowing that that was all made of spikes. Okay, so you'd have to go through it, I suppose. Very interesting. Adding some indicators there could be a good next step, because it's very clear that, you know, the art has been done several times before. There's some complex art going on in general. So I know the art is possible, and just adding indicators is one of the most vital things you can do when a level is otherwise confusing. Okay, let's just try to hold from the... Okay. Can't hold from the jump. And let's see. Yep. Okay, so there's a lot of... Again, the theming is not quite coherent. I wish that there was a lot more just like... You know, everything made sense together. There are some default spikes, there's some colored spikes, there's some text, all that stuff. And they do need to go together and make sense together. Where do I go? Okay, so you have to go through something, but there was, again, basically no indication of where I'm supposed to go. Which is very tricky for me. I'm having a lot of trouble reading how this level's going to go. A little bit of spam, but once again, a lot easier than what was before, which is throwing me off a bit. Okay. And yeah, spikes are usually used to say don't go down here, but in this case, they were used to go down there, I guess. I would have normally anticipated those black spikes would have been what you should have gone through, which is just a little bit confusing for me. I guess that these are, you can't click on them. You can't hit them. Okay, what? Oh, so this one actually, there was an attempt to indicate you're supposed to go down there. Okay. So I am going to go ahead probably at about 50% here and take a look at the rest of the editor and just give some feedback there, since I can get a full idea of what the level is and how it's going. All right. So here are my quick thoughts here. As everyone else continues playing through on GLOBED, they can also give their thoughts in chat if they'd like. So it does feel quite empty in a lot of spaces, right? There's no background going on. There's no middle ground, very little indication in general, which can be good for memorization levels. But in this context, it feels like it's very confusing for me to play. And the gameplay is also quite imbalanced. I wish that, you know, I could understand, is this a hard level? Is it an easy level? Like, what's up with that? Just having a bit of issues there. The art in general shows some promise, 100%. But again, there is a lot of variation. I can't get a quite perfect grasp of the theme going on. So I think next step here, as I look through this level, would be to add a bit more indication and then spruce up the deco as well as adding some cohesion. But yeah, it's very tough. I like the idea of only spikes, though, absolutely. And I think it gives it a lot of charm, which is why it's a great idea. Ideation in levels is a very challenging thing for a lot of people. So if you can come up with an idea that's unique, you've got a great first step there. Goofy Bod Donut level. Okay, so the song is currently not allowed for use. That's something to double check and revise, either via re-upload or something like that. Okay, so I think there's actually a Nong or a No Newgrounds song. Just a moment. Maybe. It's probably just this one. It's the same thing. Okay, let me restart this. Nice, nice, nice. It's got a little bounce to it. It matches the song, which is exactly what I'd want. Using the mini spider duel. Challenging, but good. Let's see. Okay, so it is a bit dark compared to the lightness of the previous part. We'll see how it matches. Because it's super important, right, to have a nice theme. I know I talk about that a lot, but it is so vital for the success of a level. And good, this is another thing. Adding a portal there, a reverse gravity portal, gives clarity to the player that would otherwise be like, oh, am I normal gravity, am I not? Swing is super challenging to tell. Okay, Goofy Bod Donut level. Adding a bit of custom font there could be good. Little bit messy here. It feels just slightly underdone, but not too bad overall. Okay, this part could benefit from a non-white background. And then again, lowering the opacity of those spikes because I had no idea I wasn't supposed to click there. This part's pretty good. Definitely the most developed of the parts I've seen so far. Okay. And then that's it, I guess. I wish that part actually dragged on a little longer. It was the most developed of the parts. And I wish that, you know, the creator really used that to their potential. Don't jump. What? But you are supposed to jump. That's a little misleading. That makes me sad. Yeah, so far, the theming is not exactly, like, you know, perfect. Like, there's not a great match throughout the level, but I think that's kind of what the intention of the level was. So I'm not going to really go against that. When here, you're supposed to... Missing indicator there, as a quick note. I would have never thought to click there, honestly. Honest to goodness. Same thing there. I would have expected to have to click, but I guess not. And this is just memorization, I guess. Not sure there. And an otherwise indicated level, I wish that had some indication on it. And then Goofy Odd Donut level for the closure. Okay, a little bit of a meme there. Not too bad. Okay, so I think in general, the level has a lot of good premises. There's some flashing colors, there's some pulses, stuff like that. However, I also do think that the level is a demon. That's just my guess, and that's what they said it was. And demons have incredibly high rating standards. That would mean that it would go for a star rate. Because some parts are a little bit unpolished, I wish that there was a bit more just like gluing together of the theme. It feels just a little bit like, you know, a bunch of different parts were mashed together, adding transitions, stuff like that. Those can all actually really make a level feel really stuck together. But I think what's going on here has a ton of potential, and I think that's why it could get star rated. And yeah, somebody else in horizontal chat, huge potential right here. Okay. This level lasts 4 minutes. It looks really cool based off the thumbnail, but unfortunately it does violate the guidelines that I've laid out in my form. You have to make sure that you're submitting full-length levels. Next on tap, A Tiny Bit Strange by Nightmare Fuel 64. He's got a single send. Let's see if this could be a second. Immediately got some good colors. I honestly wish that there was more depth going on. The background does feel very one-dimensional. I actually really want to show, once I'm done with this level, exactly what could be done. It's a super quick revision, and it could make the level feel a lot more complete. Gameplay plays pretty nicely, though. I don't have a lot of complaints there. And I'm a big scrutinizer on gameplay. If I say, the gameplay needs work, don't take it harshly. I just say that a lot about levels because, I don't know. It's very difficult for a level's gameplay to be legitimately perfect, so, Again, right here, there could be some upward decoration. I get the idea of having, like, a ground and stuff like that, but I do wish that there was some stuff going up top to fill the space, because otherwise it renders just a little bit empty. Honestly, for right now, it's close to a star rate, real close, because there's some good design concepts. I just wish that I felt like there was a lot more decorative complexity. That could come in the background, and that could come in the middle ground, adding some text in places, just fill in the space in general. Okay. And good block designs, by the way. I want to make a quick comment about that. Let's get that very straight. The block designs do feel very good, and they match the rest of the level. Does Nightbot have commands? Yeah. If you use !help, you can grab a list of all the commands that I've set up. A little bit strange. And then Christic GMD just sitting there in the square. Love it. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick revision on this level. First one's free, second one's $10,000. No, I'm kidding. Just to show what could happen in the background. So here, what I would do if I were, the creator here, I would place a few blocks. Let's just make this one like a 2. The background is very empty. Yeah. And that's just what I'm going to show as a quick demo. And then what I do here is I just take a new color, blending, and then I would press copy color, and then special background. And then all that you need to do is turn the opacity down to like 0.25. Gas the brightness up like 1.5 or something. Lower the saturation a bit as well. Free tutorial. Okay, and now you can see we have a little bit of different colors. What you could also do if you wanted to do this a little bit differently, and I'll show you. You can take this exact same block, move it on over, and then you can make a different channel with copy color, background. And then you could you actually don't even have to lower the brightness. You can even do not copy color. You can make it black. And you could do like 0.15 or something like that. I'm just throwing random numbers out at the moment. I would fine tune these, and you can make it a little bit darker. I'm going to roll with that for now. And then just to add a bit of variation in this level, we're going to go ahead, scale this boy down to 0.75. And what it's going to do for us is it's going to create a little gap here. And then what you can do with these structures is you can play around with them. They look like brick structures, which is really cool. So you can do that. You could flip this to the other brightness. And then what you want to do with this is you want to throw this on a move trigger. I'm just going to play this one for now. Play around with it, see what's up. I do demo this in my most recent level of different SAT. I use the exact same concept. So there's that move trigger. And then I think it was 106. So 106, I'm going to lock it to the player. Let's say my favorite idea for parallax is 0.8. And then the move time can be -1 because it goes on for infinity. And then you want to make sure, this is always a good double check to do, make sure your thing is in B5. It'll be all the way at the back then. What it's going to do for you is going to create a little bit of a background. You can kind of see it showing up there. You'd take each of these individual blocks here, you'd flip them, make them a little bit different, and then you'd put them on a different move trigger that has a different speed. And what it does is it creates a bunch of depth going on. And with blending, you don't have to worry about all that stuff. Is this pre-recorded? Absolutely not. All this is live. I'm just playing around in the editor right now. But we'll get back to what we were doing. Let's get focused again. Tornado by Ray. Epilepsy warning. There's flash player that drops. If a condition towards this level, do not play it. Okay. So yeah, epilepsy warning. I do want to put that out there. Okay, so first of all, again, exact same thing as the previous level. The background does feel very bleak. When you're doing just a plain black and white level, it is so important to have depth. And that comes through backgrounds. Okay, maybe the blue could be a little bit brighter just to make it feel like a sky. Not super important to have the colors of the orbs because it's all auto. Now we're into a layout. Perhaps, I personally feel like it could be a good next step to spiffy up the decoration in general. Okay, wow. Okay, that's a lot of flashing. That's like a lot of flashing. It needs to be toned down, and I don't say that lightly. It's very, very hard to read for me. And I consider my eyesight decent. Having a lot of issues, honestly, with reading it, and it takes away a lot of the enjoyment that I was having with the level prior. Because flashing lights are good, and obviously can distract the person in some ways. But first of all, make sure you're putting an epilepsy warning in. But otherwise, oh my gosh, it's me. Oh my gosh, it's me. Now, how's he so fast? What? I just got absolutely dusted by my clone. That's embarrassing. Anyway, yeah, I think that the flashing lights were a lot for this level. Otherwise, it was pretty calm, stuff like that. But, yeah, I wish that was definitely toned down. And then you could focus on, what could be better and stuff like that. It needs an epilepsy warning. There was one at the beginning. It was a flashing warning. But yeah, clarifying that could be a good next step. Just a reminder for everybody in chat, do not submit your levels via the chat messages. I will, unfortunately, not be able to play them because I only accept requests through the Google form. Next on tap, TTC Part 3. Always good when somebody's got a series rolling. Okay. Oh. Made a bit of a mistake there, I fear. Few blind jumps, but it doesn't hinder my visibility a ton. Adding some layouts, or adding some stuff to make it not feel quite like a layout could be a good next step. Okay, we hold. Okay, good opening. That's actually really nice movement. Exponential out. Not sure here. I'm having a little bit of trouble reading that. Adding a path through with indicators could be a good next step. First of all, I'd say, though, spiffy up the decoration. It does feel very much like a layout with a few, perks on it. Again, a bit of a blind jump. Clarifying that for the player could be good. Some reverse gravity dash orb. Stacking those up is a good creative plan. I see it a lot, but I really enjoy it. Okay, wave. Not sure why In the Castle was upside down. D-blocks. I love D-blocks. They're so helpful. Thank you for adding them, sincerely. A little bit of ball going on here. Nice. Okay. So I think I just have to, click through real intensely. Spider. There could be a bit more structuring here, right? Especially in Spider, it's so important to have just, structuring and all that stuff. The link doesn't work. It should work. If you can't click on it because you're on vertical chat, you can just type it into your browser of choice. All right. I mean, honestly, there's a good speed for the song, right? Not sure about how quickly that spike that guarded the green orbs went away. I was completely anticipating I was going to die there. Of course, I kind of just accepted my fate because I'm in practice mode, but point still stands. Okay. And, all right. Up, 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 boom. Oh, okay. So dash orb. Very nice, very nice, very nice. I like it. Okay. I don't know about that red orb right there. That's causing me a bit of frustration. And somebody just whizzed right past it. Because they knew the drill, apparently. There it is. Okay, that's a quick zoom out, and the gravity does not match it. I fully expect it to, like, float, and I don't. It's super fast. Not sure there. And a big slowdown. Yeah, you know, I think it's very dramatic for what the level presents in a lot of ways. What's your tips for block deco? I would say just make something that represents a level, have a theme in mind, and then build off that. This is honestly really slow. Okay, what? It just feels very sudden to me. And dramatic, like everything is, you know, huge or small, and there's really no in between. Which is a bit frustrating for me. Thanks for playing. Yeah, so I think a good first step would be to fill out the decoration. It does feel very much like a layout, and then going ahead, smoothing some of the stuff. It feels extremely, once again, very dramatic to me. So tuning that up could be the next step. Next on tap, we got on-set half version. Unfortunately, again, this level does exceed the 2-minute length that I am playing off of. Every level has to be under 2 minutes and over 30 seconds. This one's 8 seconds long, so I will have to skip it as well. Okay, this one, seen by blind man. Optional description. Flipped it around. I like it. I like it. Okay. This reminds me very much of like an older style level, and I don't mind it. Just wish that, you know, maybe some movements and stuff like that were thrown into it, just to add a little bit more, you know, pizzazz and uniqueness. Because with the rate standards as is today, it does, you know, need some of that stuff. It's very important. This is a tough input. Wow. Okay, then. This part's pretty cool, though. I like the colors that are going on. Some good speeding up and slowing down, all that. Actually, like, there's some charm going on that I just can't explain. I like it. Auto. Okay, wow. This part feels more modern. Not like the modern style, but like relevant today. Got some text. Color switch. Let's see, what is color switch? Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, looks like a dragon. Yeah, it's cool overall, right? The saws could use some movement and variation in speed, I feel like, but very interesting. Hold. Oh, okay, that's my fault. It says hold. It says hold, and I didn't hold. Completely my fault. Once again. Okay. You wouldn't like the next part. Okay, apparently I won't like the next part. Funny take on it because, you know... Wait, is there a name? Okay, I think it's like, let's go to the drop right now. You wouldn't like the next part. It's funny. Resigning as critter. What is going on with these blocks? And I'm not saying that like I hate it. I actually really enjoy it. It's swing. Okay. Actually, like, using swing in a duel is an extremely challenging thing, and it's being done well here. I really like this. This part right here feels like a feature to me. Zero lie. W seed. The shake, a little bit strong for a tight input in this level, but GG. Anyways, you know, the beginning came on just a little bit slow. It really ramped up in the end there, though. I love the second half of this level. And for that reason, probably a star rate. Could go for a feature, but I think it would be a star rate. Yeah, 25 hours in editor. And I didn't say plural. Yeah, but as I said in that comment, the effects were really cool. The designs were really nice. The first half was just a little bit weak. And tuning that up could be, honestly, the point in which the level feels incredibly successful. There we go. Yeah, but seen by blind man, it's a good level. I really do enjoy it, and I think it could land itself at a star rate, even a feature with a bit more sprucing up at the beginning. Simple Level by Kenneth Artful. Let's take a glance. Does look simple from the jump, I would say. There's not a lot of movement, and once again, the colors do not quite contrast sufficiently, I would say. Do I have to like buffer this? Yeah, okay. This is an issue with the practice mode. This is not something on the creator. Just a skill issue with me. Whoa. We both won, okay. Do I don't have to click. I do have to click. Okay, never mind. I do have to click. Got it. And we are almost through, honestly. Spam it. Hold. Oh dear, I got to hold. No, I mean, I think there's some charm in terms of the gameplay. The song rep really actually does match. But the decoration does fall just a little bit short for me. Especially saying take a break at, like, you know, 80%. It doesn't feel quite right to me. Okay. And we're through. Pretty chill overall, I'd say. I do wish there was a bit more going on in terms of decoration, obviously, as I've said before, but there's some good starts here. I think that having a block design is, you know, not bad overall. You can just press R to restart. I've been playing this game for almost 5 years, and I always forget that. Thank you. Yeah, I should start doing that, shouldn't I? Why do I always forget that? Oh, I feel like I waste so much time by not pressing R. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I will do that in the near future. I appreciate it. Oh man. All right. That one part, unfortunately, this one is 6 seconds long, so it will have to be skipped. Make sure that your levels are over 30 seconds long and under 2 minutes once again. Next up, Lost in Time by Jose Carlos, 13433. Hour 58 minutes in editor. Nice fit. Whoa. I immediately like this, honestly, I do. Could there be maybe a bit more going on in terms of air decoration? Probably. But it's not too bad. The amount of times I've told you about the R key, I know. Good use of the reflection, though. The reflection, I dig it a lot. It looks really nice. And it feels good to play overall so far. A little bit slow for my liking. I think that it could pick up a little bit in terms of pace, but it's not too bad. And this does feel a little bit long without any inputs. I feel like you've got a good background, a good theme going. Now it's time to build off of it, right? Maybe get it up to a star rate, get it up to a feature. This is nice, though. You got some good clouds. They seem to be set on a blending layer, as I was talking about. I think there's some parallax going on, too. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about how to use the move trigger a bit more advanced than what I've talked about in shorts before. And one of the things is the parallax effect. This is done well. Hmm. It feels just a little bit like, for me, easy levels are so challenging to make interesting and engaging. And that's why they're very hard to get rated, because when you have to make something that's so easy that it requires just a few inputs, it is hard, of course. But what you have to do is you have to make the visuals and the movements, the pulses, stuff like that, make up for the very relative not existing challenge that exists throughout the rest of the level. Add a bit more air decoration, add a bit more movements, and make it a little bit faster. It could 100% get a star. You've got a great start going on. Society processing. I believe level has been majorly upgraded. Else the original level that started the trend got hacked, so now I'm worrying. Okay, you know what? Because it has been majorly updated, I will go ahead and play it one more time. I probably won't play it through again after this, but just because there's been a large update, I will go ahead and just revise it a little bit, give some thoughts on it. Okay, nice. There's like a little bit of a shader effect going on, which I do like. Perhaps a bit more variation in the gameplay. I don't like the fact that I'm jumping on the edge of blocks every single time. You know what I mean? If that does make sense. Again, same thing there. I get the idea of a gimmick, but it does feel like quite lengthy. This part's nice, though. Obviously, when I'm thinking through these levels and I'm giving some feedback, I have to think about what would make them closer to getting a rate, right? And unfortunately, with these levels that are just basically direct spin-offs of other levels, they're genuinely made for fun. And I think that a lot of the creators who do it don't make them for a rate just because the nature of the level doesn't support a star rate. That being said, I do like this so far. I don't think it could get rated just because it is, you know, blast processing, heavy shaders, some modification in the gameplay. But yeah, there's some cool stuff like the eyes following. I'm not sure if that exists in blast processing or not, but it is fun. Ball part, boom, 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 boom. Okay. So yeah, it does play exactly like blast processing, just really fast, and it doesn't play too bad. I appreciate the fact that it wasn't just fast, you know, straight out and stuff like that. But yeah. Society processing it is. Yeah, so I don't think it could go for a star rate, obviously, just because, you know, the nature of the level. But it is cool in general. I like it overall. Let's take a look what's next. Lobotomy toll run. This one is XL, unfortunately. I don't know. I do have to read off of the length thing. It says XL 47 seconds, and the XL tends to be more accurate. So I will have to go ahead and skip this one. World's hardest jump. Okay. Take a quick glance. It's just gonna be one of those where you have to like sit here for like 20 seconds. Ah, man. You know, I don't love it. I don't feel like it's the exact way to build up difficulty. Gotta engage with the player. Do something like that, you know. It's a long wait. And it's just the same thing, copy and paste it over and over. Again, engage with the player. Do stuff like that. Okay. All right, then. No comment. Okay, LS Novo. Let's take a glance. Okay. Got some designs going on so far. I like it. I almost feel like, oh my gosh, there's something. Kaleidoscope, I think, is what I'm thinking of. That just has those, like, colors to them. It's cool. Is it enough for a rate as is? I don't know. It's just a little, a tiny bit, non-contrasting. The backgrounds could do some movement, but I do like the colors in general. I think there's some good starts here. Almost reminds me of back in the day when you'd get like one of those popsicles, you'd unwrap it and you'd want it to be like a really good color or something like that. It would always be a gradient, and those colors, they did not taste the same. I would go to war for that statement. They were not the same color. No matter what brand you got, they tasted like they were all completely different. Okay. Yeah, I can't put my finger on, like, I feel like there's something else other than a kaleidoscope and a popsicle that's different. Or that matches, this theme. Good job killing the player off immediately. I don't say that because I want, my critters to be brutal or something like that. It's because you don't waste time in practice mode and stuff like that. Cool use to cover up saws, though. That's nice. The S is a little bit confusing. I thought that it meant, like, I was going to change in some way. Just putting a green highlighter on there would be enough, I think. Okay, so it's breakable blocks, so you actually have to jump. That's a cool mechanism. I actually haven't seen that for quite a while. And then, oh. Okay, this is well done. So you have to, like, skip, and then... Why am I not placing checkpoints here? No, this is sick. I like it. Oh, and it did teleport us down correctly. Very nice. LS Novo. It's actually very close to a star rate, despite it being very static. It's pretty close. I think that adding any movement and stuff like that could 100% bring it up to that star rate. You have a fantastic color scheme in general, and you have a fantastic eye for design, and I really do appreciate that when I play through this level. And again, just add a few movements, add something else just to make it a little bit more detailed, and you got a great start. Well done. Okay, error towers. 2 minutes, 7 seconds. I'm going to play through a little bit of this just because it is probably quite a little bit lengthy. You need 5 coins to beat the level. Okay, the towers. The beginning. Okay, so I don't know why or what I'm supposed to do. So I guess this. It doesn't feel too challenging to me so far, at least. I guess it's supposed to be a 4-star, according to the submitter, who was error. That makes sense, I guess. So either the difficulty stems from extreme length, which I don't know that it does. Not sure why that killed me off. Daily tower. 1 new tower reworked. So does this level, like... Does it go on in a way that... he updates every day? If so, that's actually pretty cool. Not sure it's sustainable because, like, I know for me, I used to obsessively update my levels just because I was like, oh, I want to make sure everybody's happy. And, if there's actual genuine repetitive complaints about, like, gameplay and stuff like that, usually a good idea to go back, revise them. But otherwise, having a level that you're committed to updating daily in a year or so from now when people discover the level are going to make, why have there been no updates in the past, like, 6 months? You know what I mean? Ooh, okay. I'm going to use the R key for restart. Okay, so that doesn't work for some reason. Maybe I got rid of that hotkey or something. I don't know. Where's my tram ride? What? Do I have to go up? I have to go up. Oh my gosh. My sense of awareness in platformers is not optimal, I guess. Okay. Up, up, up. Boom. Again, I just gotta remember, like, place checkpoints. It's not a challenging level in general, and I do wish that, maybe there's a bit more innovation in terms of it, because it is a tower level, and in any extent, you know what I mean? But, yeah. It definitely isn't, like, bad overall. It just feels quite, standard, you know what I mean? Feels very much like, what I'd expect from a towers level. Okay. Through. Up, up, up. As always. And okay, so there's a coin. So I have to go through all of them. Why can't I get through to some of them, though? A lot of these are not accessible, which is a little bit rough. Yeah, a lot of them. The orange juice tower, though, is... Let's take a glance at what Big Orange Juice has to say. And then, yeah, just in the interest of time, I probably will go ahead and finish playing through what this level has to say in just a bit. Probably like 2 minutes. Just so we can work our way through a few more requests tonight. Get a few more people their shout. Not sure exactly where to go. Okay, right there. I guess. What's the room ID? Room ID is accessible from the top globed code. And then we're up. Yeah, it does feel like orange juice, right? The decoration in general for me does fall just short because it does stay very simplistic. And decoration does have to be pretty high quality in general. I like the idea of having to complete, you get a single coin at the top of a tower. Although the difficulty, you should probably get 2 or 3 coins for the hardest levels and like 1 or 2 for the easiest. Otherwise, people just grind the easiest levels, and it's not really fair to the people who want a real challenge. All right, let's take a look at what we got going on here in the editor really quick. Yep, 5 coins to beat the level. And then a few of them are done, right? There's the blue, there's the orange, there's the red. And I think it looks good so far. Again, it does feel pretty flat, and it does feel quite simple. So adding a bit more decoration, polishing, embellishing it a lot, and it's got some good concepts in it. And then adding a little bit of variation for the difficulty. So if a level's harder or a tower is harder, going back and making it like reward you more coins, stuff like that. That could be a good next step. What does globes mean? That's a mod that you can install in Geometry Dash. Lets you play with other people. I want to play Globed on iPhone. Is it possible? Yeah, you'll just have to download Geode for iOS. Not sure why the song, again, has that weird termination situation. Luminosity, I suppose. Wait, oh, it's just a skippable part, I guess. Okay, that's a skip. That you can do, I guess. So maybe tweaking that, fixing it. Could be good. Having a little bit of trouble reading, you know, what am I supposed to do? Maybe it's because I'm trying to break the level. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of messing me up in a lot of ways. Let me look in the editor really quick. Try to get a better grasp of what's up. So it does look like a layout in general so far, right? I think this is a cube, yeah. Let's just get a sense of, oh, that's a little bit of a late termination. Again, as I always say, it's better to hit somebody hard and fast and not let them go on for like 20 minutes and then kill them off, because otherwise they'll never learn and they'll just play through obliviously and die like right before the end of the level. Not exactly sure why I'm flipping. Okay. I need to be in practice mode. I'm going to play through a little bit of this just to give some feedback on the gameplay as is. So you can actually like throw yourself up there, I guess. My skill level is far less than what this level really needs. So a great next step is to, you know, grab a playtester who's played multiple extreme demons, stuff like that. Maybe even just like a hard demon, something like that. Give some feedback. As is, the gameplay feels a little bit easy to break, which is a pretty easy fix, right? Just going through, mapping out, trying to break the level, which sounds terrible, but yes, trying to break your own level. is a fantastic thing to do, legitimately. And I mean, this part plays pretty well. I've been able to read it really well. The spikes don't exactly match up, which is usually a sign of, you know, somebody rotating all of them manually instead of using the rotate buttons. That's a lifesaver if you can use the rotate buttons. And I mean, overall, it doesn't play too bad as is. I think there's some good concepts. I think you've got a good start going on. Just adding a bit more consistency in terms of the layout, because it does look like something that could get decorated. And then getting another playtester who, you know, really tries to break the level could be a good next step. You've got some good stuff. I like it. Okay. Water Flame District by Whirling. I love them. Okay. Okay. So that's a big introduction. Giving a little watermark of the creator, I guess. So you actually have to, like, jump over them. Oh, I forget to destroy them. This 3D line's cool, though, the persistent nature of it. I like that. Nice job. Bit of a long end screen for me. Or not end screen, a bit of a long transition with zero context for the player. Keep it interesting, add something, add an animation, black screen, something like that, movements, any of it. It all works. Now entering, just like this. However, some of the text is bleeding over for me. Grab some other people, let them know, you know, okay, can I have some, you know, reviewing in terms of other aspect ratios? Because when I build a level through, I have to think about, okay, people on many different aspect ratios are going to play. It's 9:16, super long monitors, super short monitors, iPhones, all that stuff. And they all have to have, you know, screens and stuff like that block the entire view of the player. Because if you're doing stuff behind their back, like turning on alpha triggers, movements, stuff like that, you want to make sure that it actually is, and there's stuff not seeping through. We're 50% of the way through. Water Flame District. This feels very much like something I'd seen early 2.11, and that would get rated, which is a good sign, because, you know, as you build your levels through, you progress, you learn from older styles, stuff like that, and you develop them. And I think that I can see the development here, right? The creators learned, they've done new stuff, they've tried new things, and there are good concepts. I think that just going ahead and polishing them, bringing them a little bit more up to date could be a good next step. Nice sunset, though. A little bit pixelated, so what you can do is you can make a large circle. This can be done by using 4 quarter circles. It's a little bit more object intensive, but if you're only using it one time, it's not a big deal. Okay, Jellyfish Boss fight. Nice job, though, adding a little bit of a reflection in the water. That's very neat. Okay, a little bit of quick reaction time for the rest of the difficulty of the level. Where do I go now? Okay, hope you enjoyed your stay. That's it. It does end pretty fast, and I wish that there was a little bit more innovation on the end screen, especially since, you know, there's a lot of hype at the beginning with the creator's name in it, and there were some transition parts that had a lot of stuff going on, but no, it's not too bad overall, and I think there's some good points. As I said, it does feel just a little bit outdated, and I think going back, polishing it up, adding some glow, adding some, you know, more complex designs, all that stuff can go in hand, and it can make the level feel a lot more relevant today. However, certainly you've got a great start, and I think that it could be really further developed and get a star rate, maybe even a feature if you had some effects, movements, and all that good stuff. Gameplay plays well. All right. So with that, it is 10:04 p.m. tonight. So, unfortunately, even though we do have some requests left in the queue, I will have to end the stream at this moment. I want to thank you guys really quick for 1,500 subscribers. It means a lot to me. I'm really glad you guys are enjoying the streams, and I thank you for your support. As well, if you didn't get your level submitted tonight, or if you didn't get it played tonight, but you did get it submitted, you can always come back. Next stream, I will be streaming on Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can resubmit. The form will be reset, so you'll have another chance. But yeah, with that, I am going to go ahead and end stream. I hope you guys enjoyed your stay. Let me know what you thought about the experience on GLOBED. And if you have any feedback, I'd be happy to listen. So have a great rest of your night, good rest of your day, good afternoon, all that stuff. And I'll catch you later.